Today we're going to be talking about the strange case of the Bear Brook murders. November 10th, 1985, a hunter found a 55-gallon metal drum near the burnt-down store in Bear Brook State Park in Allison, New Hampshire. Inside were the bodies of an adult female, Marlise Honeycrunch, and a girl, Marie Vaughn, wrapped in plastic. Autopsies determined both had died of blunt trauma. The two were buried in Allison Cemetery with the tombstone that read, "Here lies the mortal remains known only to God of a woman aged 23 to 33 and a child aged 8 to 10. Their slain bodies were found November 10th, 1985 in Bear Brook State Park. May their souls find peace in God's loving care." Then 15 years later, on May 9th, 2000, the remains of two young girls were found near the first discovery site. The bodies were also found in a 55-gallon metal drum. Police believe that all four murders occurred around the same time. Despite investigations explicitly missing the second drum back in 1985, according to investigations, the reason that it took so long for the second drum to be recovered is that the location was outside the proximity of the original crime scene. Curiously, the first drum was way back in 1985, and the second drum wasn't discovered till 2000. Yeah, that one is a little confusing to me. Like, how do you miss such, like, a crucial piece of a case? It's like, I get that it was outside the original proximity, but it's like, that's such a crucial part. Anyways, but there's no doubt the killings had been the handwork of the same person. In the early days of the investigation, authorities publicized the case in the United States and some parts of Canada. At least 10 possible identities were ruled out. In 2000, New Hampshire State Police looked at serial killer John Edwards Robinson as a suspect in the case. His MO matched, but he was ruled out. There have been other theories that the crime was the work of a serial killer or organized crime members. Some believe the killer was someone local or who knew the area well because it was not close to any main highways. One possible theory is the victims could have been killed by a boyfriend or husband. Yeah, I could definitely see why that's a theory, because it's like when you're looking at a crime, that's one of the main things people look at. Like, if you're murdered, the first thing is like relatives, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Like, those are the first things that investigators look at. So I can definitely see why. In June of 2013, new versions of the victims' facial records were created by the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. These versions incorporated their dental information showing how their teeth could have affected the appearance of their face, but their facial records could not be identified. In November 2015, the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children released a third recognition for the fourth victim in a news conference at New Hampshire State Attorney General Office. Also in 2015, the woman from the first case was identified as the mother of the two girls. It would take 17 years until the killer could be named as Terry Petter Runsom, and another 2 years until the victims were identified. During this time in 2017, it was announced that the disappearance of Denise Bowden, a woman from New Hampshire who had been missing since 1981, was connected to the Bear Brook murders. Bowden disappeared from Manchester, New Hampshire, along with her young daughter and then boyfriend, Robert Bob Evans. Evans later abandoned the young girl, Lisa, at a campground in California in 1986 and served prison time for the abandonment in 2003. After Evans was arrested for the murder of his girlfriend, Unsun June, a DNA test found that Lisa was not his daughter. However, it was not until 2016 when, with the help of Detective Peter Hadley, it was discovered that Lisa was in fact Bowden's daughter. Bowden was subsequently reported missing after it went public about the murders and Bowden's disappearance. Based on Evans' motives, she was believed to have also been killed by Evans. Lisa chose to keep her name private. Due to the proximity between Manchester, where Bowden disappeared, and Allison, where the barrels were found, New Hampshire state authorities suspected the cases were connected. They performed DNA testing and found that the Bear Brook murder adult victim was not Bowden, By 2017, Bob Evans was dead. Investigators believe that he had killed Denise Bowden after they had left New Hampshire. On June 6, 2019, New Hampshire investigators held a press conference regarding the case and revealed the identities of the 3 victims. Maurice Elizabeth Honeychurch was the mother of Mary Elizabeth Vaughn and Sarah Lynn McWaters, all whom went missing from California while she was dating Runsom. Honeychurch argued with her mother and left the residence, never contacting her relatives again. Honeychurch may have adopted an Alice named Elizabeth Evans to use in legal documents during May of 1980. It is believed that all 4 victims were murdered before 1981, as Runsom was known to have left New Hampshire after this time. Investigators stated that through advanced DNA testing, they could confirm that the 4th victim was Runsom's child. To this day, the 4th victim's identity is unknown. Wow. Okay, that's a lot. I definitely feel like them missing the second barrel back in 1985 was definitely like a crucial part of this investigation that I feel like it could have been figured out faster if they would have found that second barrel back when they found the first one. But I definitely feel like there were a lot of faults in the case, and like there's still a lot unknown with this case, and it sucks that the 4th victim never got really recognized or solved, because we don't really know the 4th victim. It was just an unidentified victim. So yes, because the killer's dead at this point. Like, he is dead. And I feel like that if he wouldn't have died and they found the case, the second barrel before, like, all of this had happened, the 4th victim's identity would have been found out. It is good that the 3 victims were found out. But yeah, there's a lot still unknown with this case, and yeah, it sounds like they're still working hard on trying to figure out the identities of all this stuff. Well, that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you next week.